With a few days left for the country to hold the 2016 presidential and parliamentary elections, a local non-government organization has expressed concern over the increased campaign violence during the ongoing presidential and parliamentary campaigns. Citizens Electoral Observer Network maintains that the recruitment of militia groups during the ongoing campaigns may deter efforts by some people to participate in the electoral process.
Even when we talk about a militia group, this is me, 3 of us. So we then decide, I box, I do this, I do this. So it's important for people to understand that ultimately this is about personal responsibility. If we, one by one, decide not to be violent, there will be no violence.
Citizen Electoral Observer Network claims that the public perceives the Uganda police as a component and a tool being used by the NRM government for selfish gains. It was also observed that some presidential and parliamentary candidates have been defiant to the time allocated by the Electoral Commission for campaigning. According to them, some candidates opted to hold rallies after 6 p.m. contrary to the Electoral Commission regulations.
As you know, the concern in 1980, there was a similar message from one of the players. And by then, that was the UPM. It was one of the smallest parties with only one member in parliament. And the head of the UPM was then Yoweri Museveni. And it seemed like a little bit of mischief. It looked like, what can this small man do? But eventually, it led Uganda into a 5-year civil war. So that's why we are very concerned now that 35 years later, we are hearing of defiance in an electoral process.
We, as citizens in this country and observers, would be interested in seeing the police conducting itself in a manner that is accountable, in a manner that is professional, in a manner that is responsive, in a manner that respects human rights. Now, some of the developments that have played out right from the preliminary phase, because we're moving very fast into the mid phase, which is during phase. We are very fast moving into that. Raises concern because we've seen, for example, police officers participating in partisan activities, including even voting in primaries.
Citizen Electoral Observer Network observes that some laws have been passed by the legislature hurriedly and would affect individual candidates during and after elections. On the voting day, the team says the Electoral Commission should come out and explain to the voters what is required of them, as they have not conducted enough sensitization seminars.
In the past, we have seen instances whereby voters have come and by chance the polling officials at that designated polling station know them or the agents there. Now, in the event, we saw this during the mass enrollment exercise, where we had the registrars deployed all over the country in different places. Definitely, it was not necessarily people from that local community deployed at that local community to register. If the same thing happens, how do I identify myself that I'm the right voter for that polling station? And is it going to be by the national ID? Is it going to be by the voter slip? Is it going to be by the biometrics? And those are the questions that Ugandans want answers to.
The team supported the initiative of the presidential debate, which they say is a useful mechanism for would-be potential leader to express themselves on issues affecting the country and how they feel such matters can be resolved if elected into leadership. Harris Tembo, WBS.
I think the debate should go on with other presidential candidates. Who knows? Who for us, we are interested in learning whoever wants to be a president, what they are talking about. So I think it's very helpful as a culture. And that's what our leaders should get out of this.